Well, as the senators were busy with all that work, they also took a break to honor their president as he's about to step down.
In the 6 years that Darrell Steinberg has served as the Senate President Pro Tem, he has turned some of the biggest issues facing the Sacramento region into state priorities. Today, in a one-on-one interview, he talked to me about the highs and lows of his powerful term, starting with the state moving from a $42 billion deficit into a time of surpluses.
The most satisfying part of the journey, as it's ending now for me, is knowing that the state is much better off than when I started, and knowing that I played an important role in that recovery. And you know, you never know, as I said on the floor, you can't pick your time. Your time picks you. And the time picked me to lead during the worst recession in modern state history. And people don't remember how bad it was. We were on the verge of an economic collapse. I mean, the bond market was about to collapse. And it could have been much worse than it was. What I'm so proud of is that my colleagues in both houses, that they consistently stepped up and made the hardest of hard decisions.
Like what?
Few of us, I would say none of us, came to make deep cuts in public education or higher education or mental health or foster care or the other issues which motivate many of us to run for office in the first place. And yet that was necessary, just as it was necessary for the two Republican leaders at the time to agree to temporary tax increases.
Your tenure as pro tem, of course, also clouded by the number of arrests of our state senators. 4 senators arrested. That's 10% of our Senate. What was it like to try to deal with that under your leadership?
Well, it's been terrible to deal with. And it's certainly not something that I expected. And I've tried to approach this in 2 distinct ways that may seem contradictory, but in my opinion really aren't. On the one hand, I say in the strongest possible terms that the acts of a few, or the alleged acts of a few, do not represent the ethics, do not represent the attitude, do not represent the approach of the vast majority of members and people that I work with. You still have an obligation to look inside and ask yourself, what can we do to improve the institution? What can we do to improve our own performance? And we've done that. We've made a number of significant changes, including no fundraising in the Senate, no fundraising with lobbyists or lobbyist employers during the month of August, when we have the most bills. It's common sense, but for years, the two have been mixed together. And a whole host of other legislative changes to reduce the gift limit, and I think those will improve things. But I hope that no other leader has to ever deal with what I've dealt with.
You are the first pro tem of our state Senate from Sacramento in more than a century. And some constituents may wonder, well, why would that leadership role really matter? But we saw it, especially with the fight to keep the Kings.
I have proudly used the fact that I'm a Sacramentan and the leader of the Senate to help Sacramento without any hesitation. But it's been for all the right things. The arena, I think, is a tremendous opportunity to build our economy, to catalyze the change of the downtown. We already see it, but I think that this is the linchpin. With 7th and K, which is the huge city block that was caught up in litigation, I was able to use my office to help settle that lawsuit. Now 7th and K will be developed, and I'm very proud of that. If you don't use this position to stand up for your community in the appropriate ways, you're missing an important opportunity.
So speaking of opportunities, what's next? There was chatter for a while that you might run for mayor. I know you have an account set up for lieutenant governor in 2018. You
know, there are a lot of possibilities, but the truth of the matter is I deliberately chose not to run in 2014 because I've done this 20 years. And I want to step out for a while, and I want to see what it's like living on the outside.
Step out and do what?
I don't know yet. I'll probably practice some law. I will do some foundation work, I hope, around mental health or career pathways, or one of the legislative issues that I've led on. But I'm looking forward to having a little bit more time. And yet at the same time, I leave here knowing that I still have more to do. It will be up to the people to decide whether or not I can ever serve an elective office again. But I hope I have the opportunity.
Senator Steinberg's term as pro tem officially ends on October 15th. That also happens to be his 55th birthday. He'll hand over the gavel to Senator Kevin De Leon from Los Angeles. Now, one thing that Steinberg identified as an important achievement stemmed from a big event at Cal Expo. We'll have that part of the interview coming up tonight on the news at 10 and 11.
Certainly leaving the door open, though, for some politics in the future, it sounds like.
You can just every ounce of his being is hoping to run again. You can tell there's still unfinished business.
Had a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
A nice interview. Nice
Thank
to
you.
sit down with him and see what it was really all about.
I've covered his career since he was on the Sacramento City
Crazy
Council.
to think about.
Yeah.
Long career, that's for sure. Well, some other news we want to cover.